guest line. Mike Bianco joins us, head baseball coach at Ole Miss. His team was in Knoxville this weekend. Lost the first game, won the middle game, and then lost game 3 of the series. And, Coach, we've actually talked with Coach Ostrander and Coach Lamonis about this as well today. Just going into any series, you obviously want to win the series. And if you can sweep, that's great. But talk to us a little bit about the importance of avoiding a sweep, especially when you're on the road.
Wow. Yeah, it's not something you talk about. It's the sweeps are great when you have them, but they can have absolutely kill you on the other end of it. And it's certainly not the mission. The mission is to win the weekend. But we when we look back at this, obviously. We got beat up on Friday and got beat up on Sunday. I thought we played well on Saturday. Certainly deserved to win. A game that kind of went back and forth. We had the lead, let it get out of our hands, and then came back and a nice victory for our guys. But I think walking away, we don't look at, hey, at least we didn't avoid a sweep. Bitter taste in our mouth last night and today.
Talk to me a little bit more, if you don't mind, about that Saturday game. Watching as it unfolded, I mean, you said played well. I thought Liam Doyle was fantastic and gave you a ton, and the lead slips away. It looked like a gut check or like super gritty or maybe just rising to the occasion. I don't even know what the way to describe it is, but that ninth inning to take the lead and to come up with some big hits and really grind that one out, it just seemed like it had to be big for the confidence for this team.
Yeah, and on the road, we haven't had a lot of those, obviously, but to do it on the road against one of the best teams in the country in a place it's really difficult to play. But we get a great at bat by Bo Gatlin, who's pinch hitting, gets the first. We get a sack drag bunt by oh my gosh, who bunt?
I don't have the box score pulled up. I'd help you.
Oh, Randall. I'm sorry, Randall. So okay. Randy gets a sack drag down. And then, a big, double by, Ross that, ends up, tying the game. And then, later we get some base runners and Groff gets a big single and, we extend the lead and then, finish the game. Mason gets a couple outs and then Spencer to finish it. But, to do it on the road against a really good club that's playing great baseball, after, getting beat up the night before was a big win.
Liam Doyle, 6 innings, 3 hits, 4 runs, 10 strikeouts. I think he's gone double-digit strikeouts in back-to-back starts. He's really pitched like an ace for you for the last couple of weeks.
He really has, and proud of him. And we've kind of asked a lot from him, over the last few weeks, and go from a guy that was just one inning stint in several relief outings. To taking the ball on the weekend and, trying to give us, as much as you could through about 50 plus pitches. And then the next weekend you're up to, 90 plus and, then to go into, foreign territory against, one of the best offenses in the country and a tough ballpark to pitch. It's a small ballpark where the ball carries and, he was terrific, really terrific.
Coach, I know the transfer portal, it moves so fast, and you're trying to learn about guys and culture and fit and how good are they and will they make sense. What did you see when you and your staff looked at Liam Doyle and kind of what he had done at Coastal Carolina in terms of bringing him into your program?
Well, I think it's just like any type of recruiting. But now when they're in college, one of the things that's we kind of have an advantage more so than recruiting a high school kid, besides the age and all the things that people talk about, they've done it at this level. But, you also have some analytics, where, through TrackMan and other, information, some video and some stuff that you wouldn't get at a high school level that we have access to, that you start to look at, go, wow, man, this kid's fastball really plays. And even though it's a low 90s, even mid 90s fastball, it's got some great ride to it, some great vertical break. He's got this cutter breaking ball that is also another really good secondary pitch. But then you have to find out, like you said, does the fit? Obviously the stuff fits and looks like he can play at this level, but how's he going to fit in? And of course, a lot of thumbs up from the people that know him, and that's important. I think that's one of the things we all worry about, right? And I would imagine if you were asking a football coach or basketball coach, the same thing: is he going to fit your program? Is he going to be a good fit in your locker room? And we got a lot of thumbs up on that as well.
Visiting with Mike Bianco, head baseball coach at Ole Miss. Going back to Tuesday night, Riley Maddox was really, really good for you in the win against Southern Miss. I know it's huge to have a guy like that you can run out in midweek games, and he's been solid in that role. Do you take a look at moving him into the weekend rotation?
Wow, that's a really good question, Richard. You're kind of running around. Usually you ask me what the rotation is, so you haven't asked me. So why don't I just answer it this way? We're going to go with Kyler Carmack tomorrow on Tuesday. Okay. So we'll push Riley Maddox. Riley Maddox will start for us on Friday. We'll keep Doyle on Saturday, and we'll push Dennis, to Sunday. So that's what the four pitchers will look like. So that was a nice way of asking, hey, what are you going to do with your pitching this week? So I figure I'd just jump to the chase.
We've been doing this so long. I'm going to try to come up with something creative as a
there you go.
Ask the same question. Can you tell us a little bit more about Carmack? Last couple of outings, he's been pretty good. Fastball plays pretty well, and I guess got roughed up in his first one or two outings. But what's kind of the book on him?
Another transfer from Arkansas State, and a kid that has a good fastball, as you mentioned. It's going to be low mid 90s fastball with some run, but he also has an excellent changeup and a good slider to boot. And he got beaten up a little bit in his first outing, and like Liam didn't have the greatest fall, didn't have the greatest early spring, but super talented, and that's why he's here. And we've seen stints. Maybe it's not as much as what you've seen from Doyle, but we've seen stints of that, and certainly moving Maddox to the weekend. I think this is just a huge opportunity for him, and one I know he's looking forward to get out there. And like Liam, I mean, we're not going to box us in on how many pitches and what's that look like. Enjoy the start, go out there and put up a zero, and let's take it from there. But I know he's excited about the opportunity.
It's always hard to win on the road in the SEC. Do you make anything of just how dominant home teams have been through the first 2 weeks? I think it's 11 of the 14 series. You've had home teams win the series.
You're right, and I don't know if I've ever seen it, like that through the first few weeks, and I don't think it'll be much different. I think that's something that I think when we're done, and I think that just shows you how even everybody is. Now everybody's either everybody's played one weekend at home and one weekend on the road, and you just look at the schedule, or the standings, and how even it really is. And I think I don't think it surprises anybody. It is difficult to win on the road. But certainly when you look at it, there's a lot of good teams in the SEC, a lot of good venues.
Coach, last thing for you. Obviously, Austin Peay on Tuesday night, Kentucky. Any early thoughts on the Wildcats, who are off to a good start, off to a 5-1 start in league play?
Yeah, I mean, they're one of the few teams that's one at home and one on the road, right? Yeah. And they went to Missouri, place that's difficult to play, and they had some tough weather this weekend, but handled it well. But a Kentucky team that's done it both on the mound and at the plate, but a little different than your typical SEC team in the sense that they haven't hit a ton of home runs. I think just glancing at it, I think they have under 30 home runs, but they steal a ton of bases, they bunt, and so they play some some different, different style than what we're, probably accustomed to in the Southeastern Conference when you play at Tennessee or an LSU and some of the others that, like us, hit homers and score a different way. They're the team that's going to bunt and put some pressure on you. They're going to steal some bases, and so we'll have to be prepared for that.
Coach, really appreciate your time.